2-1. Brad Gilbert used to be Agassi's coach, of course, and I talked about his contribution to his success here down under, and Gilbert said the biggest thing I did for him is get him to come down here because he never came down until 1995. And Gilbert said, I told him that you're going to love it there because you're going to make the guys suffer.
Yeah, he's made quite a few suffer here over the years. The match he played that 1 year Cliff with Patrick Rafter when Rafter could barely stand in the 5th set, but still forged on. He's so exhausted.
Now, tell me again, Patrick, because you're articulate on the subject. What is it about the surface that is so kind to Agassi's game?
Well, it's a true bounce. It doesn't.
But it's not a true bounce at the U.S. Open.
It's not as fast as the U.S. Well, would you let me finish?
You asked
the question, and then you
finish.
It doesn't. The ball doesn't skid through the court as quickly as it does at the U.S. Open. It just plays into Agassi's strengths. He can take the ball early. He can use the angles very well.
Don't even try to explain it to him, Patrick.
Oh, look at that.
It underscores Agassi's fitness more than anywhere else. First major of the year, and so many players try to use the last month or so of any calendar year to relax and unwind a little bit. Not so Agassi. He's on a totally different timeline from just about anybody else. I mean, while everyone else is relaxing during the holidays, this guy's working harder.
So I buy that, the fitness factor.
I mean, I think that's a very big part of it. He doesn't mind the wind that tends to be around here all the time. He certainly doesn't mind the heat. He welcomes it because it rewards him and his fitness.
Well, Agassi also, he loves to come off of a break. As you see, his coach, Darren Cahill, has done an outstanding job. And 2 years now he's been with Agassi. Agassi loves to come out and play a tournament after he's had an extensive break when he can train, because he's not a guy who needs to hit that many balls. So for the other players who maybe need to spend more time on the practice court, maybe get more match play, for Agassi, as long as he's fit and physically feels good and strong and quick, his game comes to him so quickly, because he's just the greatest ball striker I've ever seen off the ground.
She wasn't a bad ball striker.
No, she wasn't. Fairly fit as well.
How many Australians did she win, by the way?
Graf won 4 Australians.
So he could overtake her here.
Be hard for him to catch up with her others. She won 6 French Opens, 5 U.S. Opens, and 7 Wimbledons.
7 Wimbledons, yeah.
The other Agassi factor here is how much less territory he has to cover than his opponent normally. Remember, we had that stat in Houston. I forget who he was playing against, but it was quite revealing. Like this.
And this is what he can do, point after point. And see, that one, Agassi actually let up a little bit on that forehand. He could have gone for the winner, but instead, that's a shot where he'll just make his opponent run to it.
Suffer.
Yeah, exactly. He could hit a winner, but he doesn't even attempt it. And at the U.S. Open surface, or obviously at Wimbledon, guys can win a lot more free points against Agassi if they have a big serve. It's harder on this surface to get cheap points with a big serve.
So now I'm beginning to understand. I mean, between the two of you, finally
starting
beginning
to
to
become
make
clear.
sense.
Gil Reyes, longtime trainer of Andre Agassi, decided last summer, he and Andre sat down, he said, all right, here's our 2-year plan. We've got to step things up. Can you imagine? Usually, you know, as a concession to age, you wind down.
Well,
Not so those two.
That's what so many of the greats like, you know, Wayne Gretzky and Michael Jordan would say as they got older, they had to work smarter and harder. It's one thing that even Pete Sampras said, and he wasn't known for his fitness. But becoming friendly with Wayne Gretzky when he was out in California pushed him to work harder and enabled him to win that final Grand Slam that he won at the U.S. Open. Beating Agassi in the final.
Pressing, but he's got to press because if he stands and tries to trade with Agassi, he's going to run out of juice here in the next few minutes, and this is going to be embarrassing.
That's excellent movement there from Agassi. That's all that running the hills and doing those drills in the off-season there.
Second breaker serve at Rod Laver Arena here down under in Melbourne, site of the first slam of the year. Day one of the Australian Open. Welcome everyone to Melbourne. Summertime down under, and Andre Agassi in his element in the tournament at Grand Slam wise, he's won more than any other. 4-1, 2 breaks, Agassi first set.
One of the few times that Larkham's been able to push Agassi back there with that deep return. He just doesn't possess enough firepower off the ground.
Not sure how that could have been called out, but that's what Enrique Molina is going to go by. Yeah, it was. It missed. That one, he thinks that one was long.
Yeah, it looked a little long from up here. We're a long way away, but Larkham doesn't get it anyway. 5-1 first set. It's no comparison. 58 titles.
Larkham's one of those career sort of double-A baseball players. You know, he just doesn't have enough firepower. He's obviously knows how to play.
Right. Well, he won a challenger, his first challenger ever last summer. And he was looking to get into that, brought him to 130, which was his career high. And he really felt like by the end of the year he could be in the top 100. And then he picked up a virus playing a challenger in South America. That kept him out for 2 months, and then got hurt with his shoulder. So he lost the last 3 months of last year. Lost some nice momentum, and now he's got to try to build back up again. And now he's going to have to go back to either getting wild cards or trying to qualify for the big events.
Target practice now, like T-ball.
Set points for Agassi. I'd like to be able to describe a way that this young Australian, not so young anymore, 29, could find a way out of this, but he really isn't.
No, he's outclassed in every department. But he's an Aussie, and that tends to mean that he's going to fight the good fight.
Oh, yes.
Earlier this evening, Nicole Pratt had a very good-looking win over Megan Shaughnessy in 3 tough sets, taking out that American seed. The veteran hung tough.
So the first set easily to Andre Agassi, the number 4 seed and last year's winner here. Now let's go to our host and leader, Chris Fowler.
Cliff, thank
On the women's side, Anna Arden, but Venus is the wild card.
Maresma's side of the draw is the one that opened up, that quarter of the draw. Back inside, guys.
First point, second set goes to the Australian. It's first set easily to Agassi, 6-1.
It's nice that Nicole Pratt inherited this crowd. And I don't think she's ever played under conditions like this, waiting for Agassi. And I think that Aussie is going to have a much better memory of this night than this young Aussie. Actually, rapidly aging Aussie.
Before our eyes.
Todd Larkham.
What a crowd. I mean, the opening night of a slam, and
Packed.
absolutely packed.
please. 15-14.
I wonder if Agassi saw Larkham just quickly moving to his left to look to hit that forehand. Agassi throws in his first double. A couple of break points for the Australian. Wow, 2 in a row.
First game, second set.
Todd Larkham with a break. Agassi winning the first. Agassi says this is a great court for a baseliner who uses a variety of shots. He says the ball gets up and I can work it and I can also hit it through the court.
Boy, nothing but errors in the last game and a half.
5 in a row. Whereas on a clay court, Cliff, of course, the ball gets up, but the Agassi ground strokes that are, relatively speaking, pretty flat don't go through the court as much as they do on this surface.
Larkham holds. And he's got a 2-game-to-love lead in the second.
Concentration lapse from Agassi. First set so routine. He's got to regroup mentally now. Already 5 unforced errors for Agassi in the first 2 games.
Another third in a row.
See if Andre tries to take a little bit off this serve. Normally he'll kick that serve in a little more in this surface anyway. He missed that one badly.
Please.
Only 6-mile-an-hour second serve on the Porsche radar gun.
Another reason why this court suits Agassi well is you talk about how this court takes his spins, and Agassi's serve, he's able to slide that one out wide as he did there. He's able to kick it out wide in the ad court.
For service.
You overruled the machine and he can't. Yeah, I know. You realize that he overruled the machine and he can't do that.
Rick Molina. Set up by the big forehand return net. Well done.
30. 40-30.
Thought about it. And let it go. Game point to get on the board here for Agassi in the second.
Game Agassi.
Agassi with the ace.
Larkham leads 2 games to 1.
Wins the first game on his in the second set, 2-1. Larkham with the break. Larkham to serve, and we come back. Melbourne, the city of parks and gardens, and hosts this first great Grand Slam Tennis Championship of the year here in Rod Laver Arena, Melbourne Park. 2-1 Larkham of Australia in the second set with the break. He's serving to Agassi. Ifs, ands, and buts were candy and nuts, etc. But if Agassi had come down here earlier, if Agassi had played a couple of more Wimbledons before eventually deigned, remember in those years, to play at Wimbledon, could he be up there? Also, if he'd won a few of those finals that he was supposed to win at the French before he eventually did win the French.
2 finals there, that's right, against Gomez and Courier.
Agassi's in the history books anyway because he's one of only 5 players to win all 4 slams. But maybe he would have been more firmly embedded in the history books if he'd treated his career slightly differently.
Maybe he wouldn't be as motivated as he's been the last couple of years if he had done that early on too.
So may well not. 30 love.
I like what Andre says about that whole discussion, that whole conversation. And you know, he says he can look back on the earlier part of his career and know that he made some poor career decisions, but he said every decision I've ever made has brought me to the place I am right now. It's a very mature way of looking at it. And that's a fine effort from Todd Larkham. Some real good aggression there, including that play he finished at the net, which lit up this crowd.
The favorite.
Wow. She hasn't played a tournament since Wimbledon. She's your favorite. Surprised to hear you say that, Cliff.
You have to show some consistency because we were watching a guy this afternoon who didn't play a lot of tennis.
Who was that?
15 all.
Then he comes back, plays extremely well today, and you say, well, you know, he paces himself very well, and here he is at the Australian.
Still trying to figure out who that was, who that is. Merritt Safin, maybe? He's been out for a while.
That was Andre Agassi.
That was Agassi.
Yeah. The guy who's playing now. So well prepared, you
played
know.
a few more matches in between Wimbledon and this Australian Open than Venus Williams, but okay. I think I get your point.
40-15.
Agassi only serving at 40% in this second set. Middle's there.
3-2. Larkham still with the breaker serve in the second set. He will serve, and we come back to Rod Laver Arena. Agassi's the number 4 seed here against Todd Larkham from Australia, 29-year-old. 6-1 first set to Agassi, now 3-2 breaker serve to Larkham.
We always speak to the aggression of Andre Agassi on return. Look where he stands to return Larkham's serve in first and second serves. He's pretty much on the baseline or inside of it, especially off the second deliveries. Not so Todd Larkham. You can see he plays much further back on first and second serves.
It also shows you the effectiveness there of Agassi's serve, how much he's able to pull his opponents out wide. Use the whole service box.
Love 15.
If you don't stretch Andre Agassi out on the return of serve, he will just get on top of you right from the get-go. With a serve just right down the middle there. Agassi misses that one, but that's essentially where Larkham's been serving throughout the match, not really spreading Agassi out.
Killer.
Just a funky patch that Killer Cahill's man is in right now.
14-15.
That time Larkham able to paint the line with just his second ace, 101 on the Porsche gun.
Gets him to a game point. Great stadium here in Melbourne, the Rod Laver Arena, 15,000 seats and a retractable roof. By the way, Wimbledon have said that they're going to put a retractable roof on center court at Wimbledon by, was it 96 or 97?
2009.
Right.
9.
They've already consulted the architect of this one. 2 stadia here with retractable roofs. And the architect who designed these magnificent stadiums said he was a little surprised to get the call from Wimbledon.
Right.
You want to do what?
Say what? Is this a crank call?
There is a stadium, the Colonial, here in Melbourne, where that's got a retractable roof. It's for
By footies, isn't it?
yeah, it's not for tennis. It's a retractable roof, but it's got grass, and they've had problems keeping the grass alive. So it's not as easy to do to Wimbledon.
Game Agassi.
Especially because that Wimbledon stadium wasn't designed for a roof. This one was. And that has got to be very frustrating for Larkham because, you know, even in that last game, Agassi still hasn't found his his form.
Larkham had his chances there and did not hold. So now he's in trouble. 3-3, even in the second set. Oh, yes.
Well, he got the winner there, but that took a lot out of Todd Larkham, that rally, and he's going to take as much time as he can. Agassi had him on an absolute string, and that was desperation, but it paid off.
See, and Agassi's sensibility is that he's the true winner of every one of those long points by tiring his opponents. He'll give them their winners
As long as they suffer.
30-15.
Yeah, that's part of the Agassi game plan. 30-15, 3-3 second set.
These are the types of points that Agassi loves to play on this surface.
Game Agassi.
So Agassi holds. He's got the lead on serve now in the second. They've traded breaks. 6-1 Agassi easy. First set Agassi 6-1 easily, now leading 4-3. We're on serve in the second. Has had a great Australian run. The champion last year, in fact, the last 3 years. He also won it in '95. Talks about this 33-year-old. When you talk to him about retirement, he says, I don't think any athlete really has an idea about how things are going to end for them. For me, I feel a strong obligation to this game for everything it's given to me, and I feel like there are thousands of children in the inner city of Las Vegas that benefit from the fact that I'm still out here playing tennis, because he's raised literally millions, tens of millions of dollars for his school in Las Vegas for inner city kids.
Andre Agassi Preparatory School, and yet another just incredible big charity event in Las Vegas in the off season.
Having said that, I think that would continue whether he was out there playing or not.
It's going to now, but I mean, Andre realized 6-7 years ago that was his platform.
Oh, he put it away. He was being kind. He could have kept that thing going.
Check the pulse rate on Todd Larkham right now.
He's taking his beating well, this man. And the fans appreciate the fact that he's scrambling all over the place. He's not dictating nearly enough the points after having a 3-1 lead in the second set. But he's chasing down shots, knowing that he's just floating him back into Agassi's strengths, and still he fights the fight. They like that around here. Counts for a lot.
30-15.
You have always spoken about Australians and Australia with a deep love.
Oh, very, very great love and respect. Well, Patrick and I and John McEnroe, we were all fortunate enough to have the late, great Harry Hopman as our coach when we were little kids. So he imbued us with great knowledge and wisdom of this country and its history and sports.
It shows.
People often ask my brother and then myself about our commitment and passion for Davis Cup, and a lot of that came obviously from our parents, but also from Harry Hopman, the great Davis Cup captain for Australia, and the pride he took in that and the team environment, bringing that to tennis. Had a real impact on us as kids. Telling himself to hit it, but doesn't have that much firepower on that two-hander, and he also doesn't have enough time to get set up to hit it that often because Agassi's just bullying him around.
Leighton Hewitt bullied him last year here on the same court in the second round, beat him 6-1, 6-love, 6-1. Oh, makes that look easy, and Agassi, excuse me, got a break point.
Advantage Agassi. Game, Agassi. Agassi leads 5-3.
We're down under in Melbourne, Australia, everyone. This is first round of the men's singles, day one of his first slam of the year. Cliff Drysdale here, Patrick McEnroe, Mary Carollo, watching Andre Agassi, who has been so successful down under here, trying to repeat as champion again. 6-1 first set to Agassi. Todd Larkham is his opponent from Australia, 29-year-old wild card. He did not qualify to get into the tournament, but the tournament committee have got 8 what they call wild cards. He got one of them.
15 love.
The Australians have something to be positive about with a couple of their young players as well. Chris Guccione, who's a big lefty with just a huge serve, who beat Ferrero last week in the first round in Sydney. He won his opening round here today. He'll take on Robbie Ginepri, one of the young Americans. What happened there, Mary?
Thank you.
Whoever it was, he said, Andre said, I haven't done that since '89. I got to see the replay and figure out what he just did. Another teenage Australian is Todd Reed, and he's had a good couple of weeks here. We're talking about the foot fault, I guess, Agassi. Yep, there's a
It didn't look like a football.
Didn't know. Andre probably remembers exactly the match that happened.
It was in March of '89.
The score. Yeah, no, he remembers those things.
15-14.
Serving for the set. But now down a couple of break points. On 16 on the Porsche radar gun. Still break point.
Deuce. Advantage Agassi.
Set point.
Wow. What movement there from Agassi.
Turned the game around after a couple of break points against his serve. Now up 2 sets to none. Set 3 when we come back.
The lucky loser is sent home in 3 sets. American Vince Spady is seeded 29th, knocked out by Enqvist, who looms as a possible opponent down the road for Agassi. Gustavo Kuerten, one of those guys involved in a 5-setter, 8-6 over John Van Lotte in the 5th set. And Jan Michael Gamble, 6-2, 6-3 in court 19. And Robbie Ginepri, another American, advances in straight sets over Luis Horner. Back inside.
Set 3 underway.
Love 15.
Chris Fowler talking about all the contending Americans in this section of the draw. Well, the official schedule and draw comes out every day, and it's headlined, "Here come the Yanks" today.
Jan Michael Gamble also threw as Gregory Carras from France, forced to retire. From 2 sets to love down. And next up for Gamble will be Sebastian Grosjean, the Frenchman, another Frenchman. Took out Mikael Yuzny in his opening round.
Fifteen, 14. All. 4-2-13. Light per service. Game Larkham. First game 13.
Larkham holds, even in the third at 1 apiece. Almost all of last year.
Beautiful racket work there from Andre Agassi to run in like that and still curl the racket over. See, just one break from Larkham. And then he wasn't able to play out that second set. Pretty sure Andre's spoken for.
What he loves. Probably had a couple of tinnies.
Game Agassi. 1 game over.
1 apiece in the third set. This Australian Open is pervasive in Australia, Melbourne particularly, of course. The newspapers here, all of them, it's front page news, and I'm not talking sports section, front page news everywhere.
Love 15.
Australia's biggest sporting event takes 2 weeks, and over 500,000 will show.
Love 13. Thank you. Love 14.
Larkham's first serve again, he just almost always slices it slightly, so he doesn't get any kick on it, doesn't get it out of Agassi's strike zone, and Andre able to just continue to punish that serve. And there's another return.
Game Agassi.
Breaker serve for Agassi. He's in front now, 2-1 in the third. He's got a 2-set lead. We'll serve and we come back.
See, among the many champions here at the Australian is Steffi Graf, the Justine Ina-Ardin, as her legend goes. When she was a young kid, 10 years old, her mom took her to the 1992 French Open final with Graf and Celis. A remarkable 3-set match won by Celis. That's when Ina fell in love with the game and so admired Steffi Graf.
15.
And on the flight from San Francisco here to Melbourne last week, Ina was on the same flight in first class along with Andre and Steffi and their 2 kids. And as much as she wanted to say hi to Graf, her longtime idol, she just couldn't. She's too shy. Didn't know what to say to her. I wonder if Steffi knows that story. I asked Andre, I was speaking with him yesterday, I asked him how the trip over was, now that he's traveling with 2 kids, and he says it's a lot harder on Steffi because she's doing a lot of the hard work, and they've got a nanny, they've rented a home here. He said, but the flight over was a little tricky. The baby Jazz, the little girl, was okay, but boy, kind of
Jaden was a little cranky.
He's got a lot of energy. And Andre's, I guess, going up and down the aisles, trying to keep him
Quiet, please. Thank you.
out of the way of the other first-class passengers. I get cranky on that flight.
15-13.
Well, more troubles for Andre Agassi and his serve. They haven't yet hurt him, but they're certainly making this match a little less comfortable for him.
30 all.
30 all, 2-1 Agassi with a break in the third. 2 sets to none. Easy first set, but he was trailing in the second. Had to break back and then break again. All in all, Agassi's broken 6 times.
That guy who's been talking to Andre nonstop for the last couple of games is now they're trying to quiet him down, these fans.
Game Agassi.
3-1 Agassi.
Agassi leads 3-1.
Looks like Andre's hurt enough and has played enough.
Thank you. Try please, thanks.
That's a good point. It's a really good point from both of them. Agassi so quick to get off the mark. Got to that drop shot, but then a very nice pass from the Oz. Watch. That's a good hook.
The right play by Agassi there, that lob, but he just didn't quite catch it cleanly. Larkham was very close to the net. Just able to scramble back to control that high forehand volley.
30-15. No, that's a great point. That it doesn't get any better than that. It really doesn't. Larkham coming up at the end with a clean winner. This one there, he had enough of that point.
No. That's his win in this match right there. Larkham hoping to just put up a performance that he can be proud of after what happened against Hewitt last year, winning just 2 games and getting embarrassed on this court.
Deuce. Who's your dark horse after day 1 for the tournament? Go all
Dark
the way.
horse. Well, we only seen half the draw, so you don't want to get me through the
Yeah, you can
other
wait.
half?
No, you wait till tomorrow.
I'll throw in Nalbandian.
Nalbandian, yeah.
Somebody who's out of the top 16 seeds.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, you didn't qualify it like that, Cliff. I've heard you come up with some fabulous dark horses before. Guys who'd already won, you know,
Multiple
6 majors.
slams.
Yeah.
Agassi.
Mine's Escudet.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
come on, Cliff.
Very fine Frenchman. We
Yeah.
don't want to be ripping on Nicolas Escudet, but he has been mentioned as a dark horse, and
That's why I came up with it, because
you went around the block just to make that little
Yeah.
Nicolas Escudet
Yeah.
joke.
yeah,
That's-
exactly.
That's like
What a joke. Deuce.
Advantage Agassi.
I said that because Patrick McEnroe is sitting here next to me saying, how can this clown come up with Nicolas Escudet as a possible dark horse?
Wasn't talking about you either. To throw you in there now, too.
Deuce.
Usually you see a dark horse, someone, especially at this event more than any other major, sneak through to the semi or final. Seen that happen numerous times. Schuttler last year, although of course he ends up in the top 10. By the way, he went out in the opening round here today, Rainer Schuttler. Losing in 5 sets to Robin Soderling, the young Swede.
I know, come on. And how about talking about the Swedes? How about the Swede winner 2 years ago?
Thomas Johansson, yeah.
Being one of our...
Is Philippoussis a dark horse, or is he's ranked too high? He's number 10, so I guess he doesn't qualify.
I think anyone who hasn't won a major is a dark
Yeah.
horse. It's hard to win these things.
Game Larkham. Agassi leads 3 games.
Todd Larkham holds on. Agassi with a lead in the break, 3-2 in 2 sets.
Well, 2 sets to love lead and a break in the third as we look at the Pacific Life between the lines. Agassi with more than double the winners. Picked that one off his shoelaces, and it's been a lot of points like this from Andre Agassi, just running the Australian ragged and then easily knocking off the volley. It's been all Agassi. Total of 25 winners for the 4-time champ here. Pacific Life between the lines, just 11 winners for Todd Larkham.
But a spirited defense.
Yes. Putting up a good fight.
As they would say on the BBC.
Now, Agassi's had 25 errors as well, so he won't be happy with that.
3-2 Agassi.
Too many players can take a shot like this on the rise, on the run, and take it back up the line for a winner. I mean, that's just remarkable timing and racket control. Normally from that position, you're just hoping to play it back deep cross court into a safe position. Larkham unloads on that forehand return.
15-all. $30-15. Full 3-15.
That's nice. That's well played. Todd Larkham would probably say after this that about as well as he could play, because he's come up with some good stuff. I guess he's made more unforced errors than normal, but
Agassi.
Agassi holds. He's got a 4-2 lead and 2 sets to none. Reduced round men's singles action. Andre Agassi with 2 sets and a break. Taylor Dent a winner earlier today. Todd Larkham in 5 sets. James Blake a straight set winner. Jan-Michael Gamble through. Robbie Ginepri, all from the USA winners.
You have to keep in mind that this man, ranked 168th in the world, is not used to playing someone who can strike the ball so early, so cleanly, shot after shot after shot, point after point. I mean, the effect has to be numbing. He robs you of time on every point he can. You're just put in a constant state of emergency by Agassi.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Yeah, it's the truth about him. And Patrick McEnroe, who has gone down courtside there to talk to Andre when this is over, has said the same thing about him for years. And it unfolds in front of your eyes, but it's terrifying.
Well, it's got to be lung searing. You're just made to do everything you want to do faster. And people at home, you know what it's like when you know you're running a little late for work? That's what Andre Agassi does to you right from the jump. He makes you late for work.
Deuce. Advantage Larkham.
Marty Fish, one of the Americans going down, and Brian Vahaley lost early today to Marat Safin. Todd Larkham holds. He's still down a break in the third set, and Agassi has 2 sets to none. So we see the return, Chris Fowler, of Marat Safin, the Russian.
Yeah, Cliff, that's one of the more intriguing stories here, I think. Safin, it turns 24 years old in about a week, missed a lot of tennis in 2003 with a wrist injury. Here's a guy who won the U.S. Open. You mentioned a finalist here a couple of years ago. He's had 6 different coaches, 3 or 4 different injuries, had his passport stolen on the way here. So it's always interesting with Safin. He took on Brian Vahaley, University of Virginia graduate, out here in Margaret Court Arena this evening at opening night. And Safin, after cruising to an easy 6-2 first set victory, kind of took a mental vacation. It wouldn't be the first time. And Vahaley on the run here cracks the winner, wins the second set 6-3. But then Safin in the far court there with the huge game began to reassert himself against Vahaley. It was game, but Russian just too much game for him. Safin hadn't played a lot of tennis, but if he gets a few matches under his belt and begins to find the groove, a lot of the players think he could be very, very dangerous here. Third set to Safin, 6-3. Safin begins to dial in on the concentration and shows the immense weapons and the talent that he has. And a game effort from Vahaley, the American, but Safin on to round 2 in 4 sets, and he is in Andy Roddick's quarter of the draw, and as they say, a very dangerous floater, unseated here after his light workload a year ago. Guys?
Thanks, Chris. As you were saying, the players are saying that he's dangerous. I sense that you think he is too. And I think you're right.
So he's a legitimate dark horse. Are you going to say that? No.
No, I think that you make a very good point, not seed in the top 16. Of course, it's a very good choice.
He hurt his wrist here last year. Safin really did lose most of the season.
15-all.
Venus Williams, Ashley Harkle Road, 10 p.m. tonight, ESPN 2. The return of Marat Safin and the return of Venus Williams. She hasn't played since that Wimbledon final loss to her sister. Oh. Break point.
Yes.
Game point for 5-3.
Game Agassi. Agassi leads 5 games to
4 points away from the second round now for Agassi.
15 all.
Your dark horse, Merit Safin, by the way, has got a pretty good draw here, Mary.
Yeah, I noticed that myself. It's really not a bad pick.
30, 15.
You can tell Agassi now a little anxious just to get off this court.
Game point for Larkham.
14, 15.
5-3 Agassi.
Well, please.
Smothered that shot.
14, 13.
Agassi seeing the loose ball and jumping all over it. It's still game point for Larkham. He'd like to force Agassi to serve this out.
And that's what we'll see from Andre Agassi as he attempts to close it out. And if you're right, Mary, he's had enough. He'll serve for the match. Andre Agassi, couple of sets under his belt, and with a breaker serve now in the third, serving for the match against Todd Larkham, who has played well enough to give this crowd a chance to do the wave.
Thank you. Players are ready. Thank you.
Pretty solid numbers for Agassi. 61%, and then call that 80% when he gets the first serve in.
Please. Love 15.
Fooled Larkham totally on that one. Larkham jumping into the court, assuming it's going to go to his backhand.
29-year-old Australian saying before this match that this may well be his last Australian.
Please. Thirty, 15.
Very nice movement around the box with Andre Agassi's serving, and he's got 2 match points.
Thank you.
Still match point for Agassi.
Something that happens sometimes with Agassi. He gets a little flat-footed. Just wants to sort of swing away and end the rally. And those last 2 points, that's what happened. He'll have to step it up again. That's some nice movement there.
Agassi.
Third match point. Straight set win for Andre Agassi, maybe a little tougher than what he expected from Mary.
It was great stuff from Andre Agassi. The last time he played on this court was winning this against Rainer Schutler, and he looked a lot crisper, but he didn't have to play great ball to get into round 2. And I'm sure he's happy that in spite of the fact that he made as many errors as winners, 33 on both sides, he was still able to win this thing in straight sets and move on. He'll know what to do with this match, what to make of it, and how to use it for his second round match. Against a guy I've never heard of.
Thomas Berdych, he's from the Czech Republic, ended up number 103. In fact, he made a big move because he started in about the 500s playing in his first Australian Open, heading, looks like, to a meeting with Thomas Inquist, the Swede, had a good win today. Andre Agassi of the USA is through to round 2. He's trying to win his 5th Oz Open here in Melbourne. He'll be back, and Patrick McKenna will talk to him when we come back.
Andre Agassi, an easy winner, 3 straight sets for the defending champ. And Andre, I mean, what is it about this surface here? 22 straight wins on this court here at Rod Laver Arena.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I've always enjoyed these conditions. I come down here, start of the year, taking off a month or 2 where I'm training, and my body feels good. I feel prepared, and the surface suits me. I can play with a lot of variety with my game. I can use my kick serve, and I like the conditions. It tends to be hot and a little breezy, and so it all feels pretty good.
When you look at the fact that you had Federer win his first major last year, Andy Roddick, Juan Carlos Ferrero, and here you are still right in the thick of it. I mean, does that excite you? Is that what keeps you motivated, keeps you going in these majors?
Well, I think so. I mean, for me, it's about being able to play my best and still win. And as you get older, it gets tougher, and there's a lot more you can read into your bad days. But you also get that experience and that sort of that thrill of beating these guys that are about to establish themselves for a long time to come. And it's a challenge for me. It's been a challenge for me for different reasons all through my career. But definitely, these guys are bringing out the best. And
obviously, the drive you have is still burning as brightly as ever.
Well, I think so. I'm excited to be down here. This is a great way to start the year. And the overall year is always a grind. You always have to sort of get through a lot of the tough parts of the year, and that I still have to prepare myself for. But being down here feels great, and I'm definitely motivated to take another shot at it.
Well done, Andre. Good start for you opening round here.
Thanks
Straight set win. Andre Agassi moves on. We'll send it back to Chris Fowler on the terrace.